Hey, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, I guess. It is Saturday, June 8th, here in Guelph. Back from another morning of garage sailing. Beautiful weather outside, sunny, lots of sales in Guelph. By lots, I would say 40 or 50, maybe. Um, I know some of the surrounding communities would be up in the hundreds. Guelph's a bit of an oddity. Typically if I hit 50 garage sales in a weekend, that's a lot. And that's probably the maximum I would ever see. So it's kind of unique that way that, I guess I'll say, I think I find some pretty decent items despite the low volume. So it kind of comes back to, it's all about asking questions, asking for things you're looking for, and being prepared to barter and make offers. But this weekend and this summer in general, this season, if you've been following me on Instagram and on YouTube, I haven't found those retro games that I would say I normally find. So it's been a challenge, not to say I haven't found things, but just not what I'm used to. So previous seasons, I certainly would have found a pretty good amount of vintage video games. So I'll say pre Nintendo 64, or at least that era, Super Nintendo, Nintendo, Game Boy, even some Game Gear stuff. But then again, the last few years have had some pretty awesome seasons. So that being said, went out today, had Matt join me, New Adventures of Matt on Instagram, and he's looking for specific things, usually around sports related memorabilia, bobbleheads, some other product lines. So we don't really look for the same things, but he definitely has a keen eye for vintage toys. He had a pretty substantial toy collection, still has some items as well. So good to be out with him looking around while I look for video games, and and several occasions this morning he's pointing out things that I totally missed. So good to have him along. So I was going to go through the things I picked up today, and one of them right off this morning, around 6:45, 7 o'clock in the morning, was a big item. I think I'm having some buyer's remorse, I'll tell you right now, about buying it, but regardless, it's down here on the ground. I'm going to pick it up. It is a Labatt Bleu, for Labatt Bleu in Quebec, vending machine, so it keeps your beer cool. I don't think cold is the right word, and it actually dispenses them from the bottom here when you push the button. So kind of cool. If anything, I might retheme this to perhaps a local brewery that I go to frequently and my wife works for. So we'll see if that happens. This was 25 bucks. I looked online. There's some similar ones on Kijiji going for 40 or 50. Like I said, it does work. Put that down. It does work. But I have a cold cellar and I keep all of my beer in the cold cellar. I don't need to necessarily run another fridge. So I bought it. I don't know. Ironically, Matt and I were just talking about small vending machine like this, and then we saw one. So moral of the story is, talk about things you want, not necessarily things you may see, and maybe you'll get what you want. So I should talk about vintage Nintendo games, or I don't know, diamonds or something. Anyway, Labatt Bleu, vending fridge. Then we headed over to a couple sales. Really didn't find anything. Took us a while, I'd say, to actually kind of get the next items. So this was sort of a retirement home, group home sale, where it was items donated from what we found out to be deceased residents, which is very somewhat disturbing, if that makes sense. But also, they just wanted you to, offer something for whatever you were taking, although they were not afraid to ask for more. So good for them. So at that sale, there was a couple people, local people who I know, or one person I know in particular, who grabbed a couple of PlayStation 2 games. It's like some okay titles, like Simpsons Hit and Run. There was a Crash racing game in there, or something like that. I grabbed a couple things, but nothing. I'll say they got the better games. Grabbed this Billionaire board game. This is, I think, from the 70s. I think I have one of these already. I have to check in my garage and see. Anyway, it looks complete. So Billionaire board game. Then they had, this is actually kind of sad. A Slap Chop in the box with the Grady. And it has that guy in the back. I think he got in some trouble for something. And probably something not great either. But anyway, I grabbed that, added that to the pile. There was a couple of games. I think this was from that sale. Was PlayStation 2 Guitar Hero, whatever, and Assassin's Creed, the original one. This might not have been from that sale. I picked up a lot of random video game titles today. Threw that in the pile. There was a bag on the ground of Nerf guns and other various toys. I actually saw something in it, and what ended up being a Bowser toy, so I have this one. But what ended up happening was there was a bunch of them in there. So there's Luigi, Yoshi, a couple princesses, Toad. So grab those. There was a Batman figure, modern Batman figure. What's his name? I can't even think of his name. Anyway, whatever. He's in there. Christian Bale. A Blue Jays. What is this called? Like a buff? Blue Jays buff. And actually, I thought this was a bike helmet. Matt once again pointed this out. So it's a Halo Master Chief helmet. I think this is the one that came with the set. I could be wrong. Like there was a box set. It says Halo 3 Bungie inside, Microsoft, Xbox 360. I don't know. I actually don't have this. I think it came with the collector set, but I could be wrong, like I said. So I'll just put that on the shelf somewhere, maybe out in the garage. So I think that was it from that sale. $8.25 for all that. Nothing there really of resale value. Maybe the Billionaire game, but that would be a couple bucks at most. So yeah, not overly exciting. The next sale probably was, I think it was this. So DS games, $1 each. I haven't looked these up in terms of value. I assume they're not. Rock Blast, Tiger Woods PGA Tour. I think I actually already have that. Six Flags Fun Park. And CSI, Crime Scene, Dark Motives. And Puzzler World by Atari, actually, which is kind of interesting. Haven't looked those up at all in terms of value. We'll see. I doubt they're worth much. One more sale. Oops. Video games. These were, I think they were $2 each. I paid $1.75 each or something, whatever. I said give them $5. So The Evil Within, Xbox 360 title, WWE 13, and X-Men Destiny, just to add to the collection. I actually wanted The Evil Within. I don't normally play horror games, but I actually wanted to try that. The rest were all sports titles. So we saw lots of sports titles today. I just left them all behind, except for the WWE. Then I also threw into that pile was Pokemon Attack of the Prehistoric Pokemon. So this looked old again. Matt spotted this. So I don't know, that's 2 for Matt checking for things. Went to another sale, and I have a couple of these now, but Sony Sports Walkman cassette player, $3. So grab that. Put that down. There was like a community sale in the south end of Guelph, kind of like on a street. There actually was a lot of sales. So a lot of those items were from that. This is a bit of a weird one. I wouldn't normally buy these. Nintendogs and Cats for Nintendo 3DS. $3. This says it goes for $18, which I find incredibly surprising. I highly doubt that is true or accurate, but grabbed it anyway to add to the 3DS collection. Like I said earlier, not substantial titles here. Also talked about, ironically, we were talking about, I don't understand why they still make Just Dance games for the Switch and the Wii U and the Wii. I don't know who's still buying these, and then I go and buy one. So $1. My son actually really likes these games. My Wii is hacked, but I'll take the physical copy, I guess. So ironically, I would buy it right after I say I don't know who buys these, and two of them. Just Dance 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I think that might have been from the other pile, actually, that I talked about earlier. Some actual Xbox games. Again, mostly sports titles, but I grabbed these ones. Sarge's War, Army Men. And Dakar 2, The World's Ultimate Rally. This actually, oddly, seems to carry some value. And Call of Duty Finest Hour. And a Wii Sports title. Wii Sports. So again, just random stuff for the collection. Another sale actually had Series of Misfortunate Events for PS2. And then this is actually kind of cool. Harry Potter collection on PS2. So this comes with all 3 titles. And 2 of them are sealed, unopened. Not that these are great titles, but the fact that it's the collection is kind of cool. And then the one that was open, I don't know if it's not supposed to come with the manual, but ironically, the other ones are sealed and this one doesn't have the manual in it. So those were $5 for those 2. This Harry Potter collection seems to have some value. I may or may not keep it. Harry Potter collection. And then at the same sale was 2 more board games. Barbie Queen of the Prom 90s edition. I actually did not look this up to verify it was old. It's from 91. That's good. I have another Barbie board game for sale right now, not moving at all, so I'm not really sure why I picked this one up. Well, I know why. It's because Matt, again, noticed this. Dweeb Geeks and Weirdos board game. I've bought and sold this 3 times. It usually goes for about $35, so that will cover the day once I sell this. It looked complete. Anyway, so the 2 board games and the Harry Potter game and the Lemony Snickets was $10 for all of them, so total. Then we're at another sale. I'd say mostly like old people stuff, and once again, Matt, keeping an eye out. My Little Pony Baby Bonnet School of Dance. Awesome. So this, probably can't open it now, has 4 G1. That would be a lot cooler if they were Transformers. G1 My Little Ponies in it. I am going to sell these. I do not collect My Little Pony. If you follow me on Instagram, you would see that I have a G1 My Little Pony case. That lesson learned, selling on eBay, do not ship outside of Canada and the United States, because the person wanted me to ship to Denmark. I said I'd consider it. They somehow were able to bid regardless of me not changing the shipping options. They won, and shipping to Denmark for that size of item is $130. And while they were willing to pay for it, I'm not taking that risk, so I canceled the order. And I will continue to only ship to United States and Canada, because that is ridiculous. There's a bit of a language barrier. They also didn't understand how the risk is on me. And I said, well, because if the item gets returned or you say it didn't arrive despite tracking, then that cost is on me. So I'm not taking that risk for what really is only like a $40 sale. So what I'm going to do is bundle it with this now that I have this and sell it locally. So that was $3. $3. So 4 G1 My Little Ponies in the case. Yeah, this was kind of different. 25 cents for DVDs and games. I have not looked these up in terms of the games, but they're just Wii titles. Professor Heinz Wolf's Gravity. I have never heard of this title. Anyway, 25 cents. And what else was in here? There's something else in this pile, which I don't see. I feel like there was another game somewhere. Anyway, so the Wii title, and then actually some really good Blu-rays. So this is what caught my eye first, was GoldenEye for Blu-ray and Octopussy. And then he actually, you know, we talked about, it was only 25 cents. So he said his wife's making him sell all of his Blu-rays. And he had all the Bond ones. So Diamonds Are Forever, Skyfall, and then actually I have these, but still for 25 cents, Tron Blu-ray, Tron Legacy Blu-ray, and this is actually really cool, Avatar Extended Blu-ray Collector's Edition. Actually been meaning to watch this again. So 25 cents. So I don't typically buy DVDs or Blu-rays at dry shelves. I can't say I ever even look at them, but 25 cents for all those titles. And then so it came to $250, and he was like, well, just whatever. I don't care. I don't need the $250. I was like, all right. I gave him the $250. This was just free. Splatoon stickers for Nintendo Switch. This was just free. Don't know if I'll put them on, but whatever. And the last item of the day. Oh, well, the last item that I actually bought, 25 cents, Hires Root Beer glass mug. This is from 1985 because it says the Ottawa Police 34th Annual Conference, 1985. So weird association. Hires Root Beer and the Ottawa Police Department. I don't know. And a vintage Pepsi mug. Pepsi, you can't see that with me standing here. Pepsi. Pepsi mug or glass. And that was kind of it for yard sales. I dropped Matt off. I had to take my wife to a golf tournament, and I went to a couple more sales after, and actually found vintage Nintendo games. Super Mario 3 and Golgo 13 for $15 each. No way. They weren't looking to barter. They had 4 Atari 2600 games for $4 each. Those are not worth $4 each. They had an Atari 400 game in the box, which I've never seen before, for $10. So no thanks. So I left that as well. That was the first time I've actually seen vintage games this season. And no one's been willing to bring anything out of their house or even had anything. Guy today had a Game Boy and 12 games. He wouldn't bring it out of his house. He knew what it was worth and was actually looking for stuff. And so, no opportunity there. A lady who talked to you had given it or sold it the previous yard sale, an N64. And then one guy actually, when I do my spiel about games, and even if they say they don't have any, I list off stuff, and I always ask for pinball just as a kind of an ending joke, like, do you have any pinball in your basement or your garage that you want to get rid of? So a guy actually said yes today. So he had a Night Moves cocktail machine. They made about 450 of those machines. So if you don't know what a cocktail pinball machine is, it's like a cocktail arcade cabinet where it's a small octagon shaped machine with flippers and bumpers and everything, full pinball machine, but basically compressed into a small, more manageable format. They don't typically play very well. Night Moves is actually a decent game. He said it worked okay, except he needed a new battery to save scores, and he'd spent a lot of time. Anyway, he wasn't willing to let me look at it or consider even an offer. I wouldn't have paid very much for it, regardless, but the impression was he may not know what it's worth, which isn't a lot by any means, but that would have been nice to actually find a pinball machine at a yard sale. I've only had that happen once before, which was a Space Odyssey machine, which I sold for considerable profit after some minor repairs. Anyway, so, great day, spent a lot of time out yard selling, but still not that retro stuff that I'm really looking for. So we'll see how the summer goes. I may have mentioned in my last video I was supposed to be in Montreal this week. That did not happen, so there's no thrift finds from Montreal. That whole trip got canceled. This week, Monday, I am in Vancouver Island, which I have a couple of thrifting locations there, which I may have time to go to. We'll see. It's very busy this week. And then back garage selling next Saturday in Guelph. And that is pretty much it for today. If you like my videos, be sure to like and subscribe. You can leave a comment. I'll try and write you back. You can follow me on Instagram for live pickups, thrift finds, yard sales, some retail items in there as well. And like I said, I continue to, sell the stuff that I can, keep stuff for the collection. And I think up next will be a small thrift find video. So look forward to that, and we'll talk to you later.